Hello everybody, welcome to my channel. Before starting my video, if you didn't subscribe my channel, please do, and do not forget to turn on notifications as I'm sharing great contents all the time for you. Alright guys, let's continue with the third video of our authentication. In this video we will continue with the application layer just before the controllers, and let's go through what I did. If you remember, we already had our iServices in our iToken services in our previous lesson, and I'm just quickly passing here, just a quick reminder. So let's go with our features. But before that, did any changes on service? Let me have a quick look. I guess I did this, but I guess this is for nothing. It's a wrong changes. Let me have a quickly. Is it redundant? Let's do a control RG. Yeah, this is a redundant, so we don't have any changes. It must be the, yeah, we just deleted them. Okay, so actually we don't have any changes in service register. Just open it, use control RG, just remove the unnecessary thing if you have. That's all I did. So we don't have any changes related to our authentication. Okay, let's continue to our feature. So I created a new folder which is called identity, and I created a new folder use app user, and as usual I added command and queries. So we don't have queries yet. I just added just if we need it, but I'm not gonna go through with that one, so I can delete it. We don't need any queries for now, so just added commands. So in commands we have 5 different method. So login user, refresh token, register user, revoke all user, and revoke user. Just create all of them one by one, and we will start with the register user. So I created those classes. You can create all of them if you click the pause button, and you can create all the classes right now. And we already have an event handler section. If you remember, once we created our new users, we are using our domain event to assign them to in a certain role. So that's why that is the place we're going to handle them as usual. You know how to create our command and queries anyway from our previous lesson. I'm going to make them a little bit quicker. So I just create a register user command. We have our DTO and we have a register user response. I just created here our response, and this is our command. So create your record for command, and let's have a look at our response quickly. We are returning the ID, we are returning the full name, and we are returning the email once a user register in our system. And I created my mapper, and the namings is going to be exactly identical. That's why just using this initial mapping. I'm not using for member method. Let's close the response, let's close the command, and let's have a look at the handler. Basically actually I do the same things. It's going to be internal sealed, and I just implement my interface command handler, and the queries command. The response is this is the response. So I added user manager, role mapper, and IMapper. I'm gonna need all of them, and I assigned them. Actually, I didn't use my role manager. Let's delete it. This is redundant. Yeah, perfectly fine. Alright, so I'm checking back again. The user manager and IMapper, that's what we're going to use in this handler. And I switch my method is a vertical design. We did all logic in our user class anyway. All we need to do is create a new user using AppUser.create. So we're just passing through the DTO and the user manager. Let's have a quick look, create again, and see remember what we done. In this method, we are checking the user if it exists. If it already exists, we're throwing an error, and we're creating the user, and we're raising the domain event, and we're returning the user. That's what we're doing. Alright, then if the result is succeed, as you can see, sorry, this is my fault. After creating user, we just saving it to DB using user manager create async, and this method, it is asking you, let's have a look, a user which we just created, and password, we have the password in our command, so we're just passing them into that method, user request DTU password, and after completion of this action we have a result. If the result is not succeed, so definitely we have a bad request, so we are returning a register failed error, and the error message is located in result.errors, and we just selecting the descriptions and saving them as a list. These are error messages, guys. Then we are creating our response using mapper. So we have a user here, right? So we have a response, we're just mapping them from user to user response, and we are returning our success response to our controller. All we need to do now in controller, consuming this handler. Alright, let's have a look at the handler. So everything is done. Once the user is created and we just published our domain event in our create method, now it's time to handling it. Yep, I created a new class using user registered domain event handler and inherit from iNotification handler as usual, and it have user registered domain event located in our domain users event. This is our domain event. We just implement this here, and we need user manager and email service. I'm going to use the email service here. Actually, this is redundant. Sorry, let's delete it. We don't need to use the email service and it's here. But if you would like to notify the user about their account has been created, you can use the email service as well, but I'm not going to use now. All we need to do now, handle this method. So now your method is going to be look like, all you need to do is, guys, after you implement your interfaces from my notification handler, okay, let's rewind them back. I'm assuming you already know how it's we are doing now. Just control dot implement the interface and switch the method to the vertical design. Yeah, now all we need to do is find the user first. If the user is null, we do nothing. Actually, I'm thinking logging and throwing exception for this notification sections, but in purpose I put those commands. Once I completed everything related to this project, I will go back here and I'm going to handle this issue, but for now I'm just using return. If the user is null, we do nothing. Okay, if you remember, we are returning an admin key, and this admin key is going to be passed through by our, let me have a look, register method. Let me have a look quickly. Give me a second. Request DTO. Okay, in our command, in our DTO, we are asking an admin key, right? So I'm just using this admin key in our create method, and I'm passing this admin key to my notification handler. So how I'm going to use this admin key? If the notification admin key, if it's null, basically it means the user is role, and I'm using user manager at role async method, and this method requires a user and the role. I'm giving the user, and now it is time to use the static type save auto-seeded data. So I'm using app role. Let's have a look at app role. So we have a user here, right? I'm just basically using the user.name, and user.name is going to give me a user, which is now it is type save. Instead of typing here, where is we are incorrect? Okay, instead of typing user using this type safe method is going to much more best practice, because if you just think, if you change the name instead of user to user role, so you need to manually search all user strings and you need to switch them all one by one. That's why I used auto-seeded static properties for our roles. Okay, if the admin key, if we provide an admin key with checking, the admin key comes from the notification and the app role admin key if they are matching together. But why I'm using this one? Let me have a look. Yeah, the admin key is predefined key, and we're going to give the correct person to create an admin. You can keep them in app.settings.json as well, but I'll just make it much more easier to I'm keeping in the class. So if the admin key comes from the user and the admin key we are storing in our class, if they are equal, we are creating an admin user. But if it's not, we are just throwing an error, admin key not matched. This is how we are handling our notification once we create a new user. All right, let's close here. So I think register user have been done. Let me have a look. Should I do anything else related to register user? Let's close here. Okay, register user has been done. Let's continue with the login user. So, as usual, I'll create again command handler and response. The command requires a login user DTO. We created in our first video our DTOs. It's required email and password. And we're returning login response, user response, and as a result we are returning an access token, we're returning a refresh token, and we're returning an expire date. So let's have a look our handle method now, see what kind of handling did we done. Okay, first of all, switch this internet sealed class and inject your user manager, role manager, and token service, and implement your handler. And this is your command. This is user response. Do not forget to assign your, I guess, role manager redundant again. I just add everywhere in this project. Let's delete the role manager again. No issue, perfect. We're not gonna use the role manager anymore. Just user manager and token service need to be injected. All right. Let me minimize it. Probably your project is gonna look like this. Do not forget to implement your interface and add your async and switch your method to vertical design to make it much more readable. Let's revert back everything. Now I'm going to show you how we log in. First of all, we're going to find the user using find by email, and we have email in our request login DTO. If the user is null, we're returning an error, email or password is not matched. Why I'm not telling just email? Because I don't want the user to make which one is correct or not. Maybe somebody trying to enter your account and just trying the random numbers, right? So we are just returning email or password not match. If now we're going to check the password is correct or not. If we have the correct user, now we're going to check the password. So check password, we have a check password async in our user manager. It requires a user and password, and as a return it's returning a bool value. So if the password is wrong, I'm just returning the same error messages, error or password is not matched. And if both of them are correct, now we're going to get roles of the user. To do that, we have another method, get role async. If you can see, we don't need to use unit of work to reach our entity, because the user manager class has all the methods what we need to manipulate our data in DB. Okay, so we get the roles. Now, as you can see, it's returning ID string. So we have everything to create token. The create token method needs ID string and an app user. So let's have a look. To create access token, we are calling create token method from the token service, and I'm gonna make it async as well. The name is not very well, but before that, let's go to create token. Let's switch naming to async because this is an asynchronic method, right? Let's type here token service. Let's fix the naming as well. Perfect, it's all done. Let's switch. Perfect. Sorry guys. Okay, now all we need to do is sending this parameter through user and roles. So what's gonna happen now? Let's have a look again and refresh our memories. So we sent our user. Let's go to implementation. Give me a second. The phone is ringing. Yeah, all closed. Okay. So let's remember what we done here. If you remember, we are creating token here. We just create our claims, which is going to be GTI, name identifier, which is ID, email, and the roles. All claims will be saved in the token with the security key, and we all saving them into claims in our database using @claims async. They are going to be saved in user claims table, guys, and I'm going to show you once we try it. Okay, so now I'm going to close token services. So now we're going to create a refresh token. A refresh token doesn't require any parameter, we're just calling the refresh token. So we have access token, we have refresh token, but we need to update our user refresh token table. So if you remember, while we're creating our app user, we created add refresh token info. Let's have a look. We are in app user class and we have add refresh token info. So just basically defining refresh token and expire date, refresh token expire date. Let's close it now. So I called that method and I'm giving the refresh token, and I'm giving my get refresh token expire date using token service. And then all we need to do is, guys, updating the user and the security stamp, because we did change, we need to update the security stamp as well. So all the changes what we did are going to save to the database. But now we're going to return a token to user. To do that, we're going to create a new instance of the security token handler and call the method write token, and we just gave the token the access token because the access token is created as GWT security token. Basically, we are returning a string definition of our token as a response. So we're returning a token, access token, and the refresh token, and the access token. This is the access token, the value 2. There is a lots of methods here, and you can use all of them. You can have a look to claims. You can look the audience, everything. You can have a look to every detail what we saved, what we created in our access token. But I'm going to use valid 2 now. Alright, so we have in our response, now we are returning our success return. Alright, let's save everything. Now let's close here and let's get back to our features. So register is done, login is done. Now have a look to refresh token. Okay, so I created a command refresh token and refresh token DTO, and the responsive refresh. Let's refresh our memories while we have refresh token. So it requires an access token and a refresh token. So if you would like to renew your access token using refresh token, all you need to do is give your valid access token and a valid refresh token, and it will give you a new access token. Perfect. Let's close the DTO. Let's have a look at response. As a response, we are going to new access token, new refresh token, and new refresh token expire date. Actually, should I need a refresh token expire date? I'm thinking, because we are refreshing our refresh token as well. We are refreshing. Actually, we can return the new access token expire date as well. Okay, this is a homework for you. I'm not gonna add the new access token. You will add the another token expire date for the access token. Let's continue where I left. Now it's time to adding command handler. I'm not gonna repeat myself. Please do the preparation like internal shield, adding our handler, add your user manager and service, assigning your fields, vertical design, add your async. All of them is done. First of all, we need to validate our token, and that's because we created in our token services get principal from expired token, and the token service going to validate our token comes from our DTO. The access token will be validated in our handler. As you can see, we are sending access token as a parameter. I'm not gonna go through again this principle. And after is completed, if our token is valid, is our current access token is valid, okay, we are returning a principal, and this principal has all the values regarding to user information. First of all, I need the email, and as you can see, to get the email, I'm using the find first value in principal, and I'm just giving the claim types email constant, and it is just having the claims always have the key value relationship. If you gave the key email key, you're going to get the value of the email. So this is our string value email. If the email is null, so refresh token, I'm returning refresh token fail error. Alright, done. We are going to find the user. Now we got the email in our hands. We're going to get the user using user manager find by email. If the user is null, again we are returning a refresh token fail error, user not exist. Then we're going to, if everything is correct, if we're able to get the email and user, we're going to get the emails, roles using user manager get roles, and the get roles is just requiring the user. It's just bringing all the roles belonging to this user. If the roles is null or the role count is 0, there is a problem, because our system is assigning a role to every user. Okay, there is two result we have. If the user doesn't have any role, we have a bug in our project, or our outbox messaging is failing, is not working, because we are using our domain events to assigning role to our user. Okay, now it's time to create a new token and refresh token. Let me have a look. This is new refresh token. We are creating a new generate token. By the way, we need to implement this method as well. Perfect. And the new refresh token expiring using again our get refresh token expired date, what we defined in our service. All of them is done. We are calling the update refresh token because currently we have a refresh token saved against the user in our database. Now all we need to do is update it with the new data, and it is time to ask a new access token to our service, and we are just calling the token service create token async user and roles. That's because I find the user and roles again in our refresh token handler. And all we need to do is updating user. Perfect. After updating user, we can create our response. New access token is going to be created by our token handler. The new refresh token here, expire date here. All you need to do as a homework, defining our new access token expire date and pass through here as a response, and we're returning our response. The refresh token handler is completed, guys. Perfect. I'm assuming you understand this section as well. Now let's continue the next module. I guess I'm tired a little bit. I'm just talking consequently, not to make video too many long. It's already been 26 minutes. The last two module is really easy. It's going to be finished quickly. The revoke user and all user. Let's continue the revoke user. We're returning nothing. It's going to be 204 status code. Is going to be update. It's going to be similar to update methods. Let's have a look at the command. We're just asking user to give us an email and which user refresh token is going to be, we're going to define the which user refresh token is going to be removed. So the return is no content DTO. We're returning nothing. Let's go to handler. I do the same thing. Add the user manager, internal, implement interface, command and the response. Alright, all we need to do is find the user. If user is null, we are just returning error again. This is the same process. By the way, I'm thinking a kind of method. I'm assigning, for example, checking user. I'm gonna at the very end of the course, I'm going to assign these to a variable, and I'm going to call them every time I need, because this is a kind of duplicating code thing, so we are repeating ourselves. Okay, let's keep it as it is for now. Once we completed everything, we can go back and we just fix everything. Alright, all done for this section. We found the user, and if the null, we are just returning error message, and all we need to do is call user revoke user, and the revoke user does just assigning null refresh token and refresh token expired. What it means it's similar meaning with the logging out. If the person would like to log in the system, they have to use login credential, email and password instead of using refresh token. Let's close it now. Then we're going to update user, and we are returning no content DTO with the success method 204. Perfect. Revoke user is done, and let's have a look at the quick revoke all user. This is going to be tricky. The person able to revoke all users should be only the admin. When it comes to create our controller, I'm assigning this user, this method going to be just for the admin. Alright, let's have a look now. As you can see, revoke all user DTO, and we're just giving the role. Let me have a look why we are giving the role. To be honest, I forgot what I did. Let's have a look. We're just passing through the role, comes from the user, and we're returning no content DTO. Let's have a look to handler. So we add user manager and role manager. This time finally I'm going to use the role manager. I'm happy to see that. And implement your interface, guys, after you add your handler command and no content DTO. Okay, so we have a list app user. Let's have a look what I've done here. So if the role is empty, if the role is empty, the users await user manager users. list async. Okay, so if the role section is null, we just selecting all the users and defining this list. Yeah, if the role is okay, so we are doing revoke, but if we send, alright guys, I remember what I did, definitely. Let's have a look. User DTO. If user define a role, for example, just imagine you are an admin, you would like to clear or refresh token belong to your users, but there is a lot of role like user, member, accountants, human resources. If you just would like to remove or refresh token belong to human resources, just give the role name and just clear them all instead of clearing all of them. That's why I add role here. And as you can see, if there is no role defined, so just basically removing all refresh token across the all users across the whole system. But if you define a role, you just only removing the roles belong, removing the refresh tokens belong to that role. To find that, to enable that, first of all, we're just checking if the role exists using role manager, find by name async. If the role is null, we just returning error. And if we have the role, then we can find all users having these roles using get users in role async. As you can see, these user manager and role manager have really good type of methods you can able to use. And now we can iterating all users and calling user revoke method and updating each user, then returning the success method. All done. Our application section, I'm assuming, completed. Please do not try to test your endpoints because we need to create our endpoints anyway. And after creating endpoint, I will do a couple of settings to enable our Swagger to accept a bearer token. You can use obviously Postman, but I'm gonna show you that one as well. Okay, so let me check again. Did I show you everything? So token service added, all the handlers are added, service register has just nothing actually. Anything else here? Okay, during system, if you have any missing library, you can add the system identity model tokens JWT. Let's have a look which items requiring that namespaces. I'm gonna have a look again. Okay, let's copy this name, and if you press Ctrl Q from your keyboard, this code search section will be appear, and click the code search. I'm just typing the namespace and click the text, and you will able to see this namespace. Where is it located? So in token service, in application, this is a command handler. Okay, we use these in refresh token and login user. Okay, let's have a look at the login user. So we use that. As you can see, this namespace here, probably it came with, if you delete this namespace, you will understand. As you can see, JWT security token handler using that library. While you're adding this handler, if you have a problem, just put your cursor on it, Control dot, you will able to see the install the latest version of it, or you can just manually go to manage NuGet package and you can download it into your project. Let's have a look at the version. The version is, I'm using 8.3.0. Maybe if you watch this video later, the version might be changed. Okay, it's everything done in this video. It's already been 34 minutes, guys. Next lesson we will continue with the API section. Let's have a quick little look what I done. basically I create a new controller and I amend the other controller. Probably I add an authorize attribute and I fix my global exception handling, because if you remember, I add new exceptions, I need to amend my exception handling middleware, and also I amend my Open API options. I'm going to show all of them step by step. Start with the Swagger options, then the controllers, then the adding authorization attributes, and finally be able to test them all at the end of the next lesson. Take care of yourself, guys. I'm assuming you like my videos. Crush the like button. I really appreciate it if you drop comment below the video. Take care of yourself. See you on next lesson. Bye bye.